Thomas! It's up for grabs now!
Magic ball from Bergkamp to Patrick Vieira!
Oh, would you believe it? Oh, right, what a way to get it! Well,
Fabulous solo goal by Thierry Henry.
champions.
Good evening. From Lavanja, you know the score with my co-host and partner in crime, Pablo, aka Shaheen. How you doing?
Yeah, very good, very good.
Again, still in the prison cell, yeah?
Yeah, finally we managed to secure my man. Listen, Curtis, we're not going to be able to beat Laurie on the introductions, yeah?
No, his
Save my introduction. Okay, so firstly, no introductions required, but he gets one every week regardless, aka Mr. Fence Sitter, even if it's electric, aka the flip flop, aka he's got a new channel coming out. Lee Judges, how you doing, mate?
Hey, how we doing? You're all right. Yeah, it's called. I'm going to be sponsored by Havanas. That's what I think. Like. I'm trying to get that. Like, So you never know. You never know. So I'm off the fence now. Anyway, I'm off the fence.
You are off the fence for now.
You know what I mean?
Also,
I wasn't at 3-0 down, by the way. I was fucking back on it. I'll tell you, like. You know what I mean?
Wait, 3-0 down. I said 3-0 we were going to win, if you remember last week, but we'll touch on that later. Also, we've been trying to get him on for a little while. He's known for running his life on Jamaican time. He's also the founding member of the Akon fan club. And in amongst all of that, he runs his own channel, a great channel with great content. Curtis Shaw TV. How you doing, bro?
No, good, man. Pleasure to be here. Do you know what? When I saw that intro that you had just then, I was thinking, we used to be such a great team, didn't we? Like, I see all them people, I'm like, oh, man. But no, listen, onwards and upwards, hopefully, anyway. But
don't start with the neck, Curtis. I know you've got lots to talk about. I've been watching some of your content, bro. So trust me, I'll be asking you quite a lot today. So hold tight with it. But big up to everyone in the chats today. Young Palace, Sam, Seb, Sebastian, how you doing, bruv? Charlie. Mortiza, was it Morteza? I don't want to call him Mortiza, it's a chocolate. Aslan and Anthony Williams, big up Curtis. He says, I'm here for you, bro. Cheers, Anthony. Nice to know that, bro. Anyway, let's get straight into it. So it's been a little while. It's been an eventful last week or so. We've had some ups and downs, but look, we had the West Ham game, which I'd like to touch on first, because last week we were on the show with Lee and Kev last week, wasn't it? Right? Lee and Kev?
Yeah.
Seems like ages ago now. We were sort of wondering what he was going to do, how he was going to line up. We were really confident against Olympiacos. We thought it was going to be a breeze. And just like Arsenal, it wasn't, but we got through. And then we had the conundrum, what sort of lineup was he going to have for West Ham? And, you know, you had people in the chats, I think Aslan may have been one, or was it Omar, another one, was saying it's a done deal. Like, you know, we don't make some changes, drop Gabriel, put Mari in, let's put this person in, put that person in, drop that person. And lo and behold, Mikel did that against West Ham. He made some changes from the Tottenham team. He dropped Emil Smith-Rowe, put Saka back in. He brought Mari in for Gabriel, who I thought was playing really well. I wanted Gabriel in. And subsequently, we had a performance in that first half, which is something that we were probably used to back end sort of last year, or maybe sort of the beginning of the season, where we were woeful. Like, we were way off the mark, no shutting down, no high press. It was like we were off, you know, we were off the pace so badly. We ended up 3-0 down. We came back 3-3. I don't want to go into it too much. I want these guys to go into it. So Curtis, I'm going to hit you with this because it's your debut today, bro. And you know, I've been watching some of your content, and I know you had some really good points with regards to Aubameyang. But firstly, I wanted to hear your take on the performance and whether you felt Arteta did the right thing, and you know what you was expecting from him.
do you know what? At 3-0 down, I'm thinking, I'm ready to start painting on the banner. I'm saying, that's it. He's done, mate. I've had enough, this manager. 3-0 down after 30 minutes, probably the worst 30 minutes of the season. But to be fair, they rescued it and got a good draw in the end. But I still felt disappointed by the point. I felt like, you know, when you're mid-table, a point doesn't really do anything for you, does it? You know, we can take the positives out of it. They showed great spirit to fight back. The thing with Arteta, I understand it's a unique season that, you know, they've had to squeeze the season into a smaller space of time. So clubs are rotating and you know, I get that. But I think when you're struggling, as we have done this season, which, you know, ninth is not good enough for Arsenal, I think you have to minimalise the amount of rotation that you do. And it seems like he's only willing to rotate certain players. You know, Pepe's been rested and, you know, Martinelli can't get a kick and Gabriel's played well, but he gets rotated. But you see players like Xhaka, you know, Saka had just come back from injury. They put him back in. Reports have come out today. Southgate said he's injured again. He can't play for England against San Marino. So they've rushed him back too quick. I felt with Aubameyang, they shoehorned him into the team. I've said many times, you play him up front or don't play him. At 31, I don't think he's a left winger.
No.
And I think it should have been him or Lacazette rather than both of them. And then he actually starts him on the right-hand side, which even more bewildering. Like,
yeah.
And then, you know, even Gabriel, I think everyone knows that Antonio's their main threat, and he's a physical player, rough you up. I think Gabriel's one of our most aggressive centre-backs. He wants to have a little scrap, sometimes too much. And he'd been playing well. He took him out. You know, David Luiz is nearly 34. If anything, you would have thought maybe give the 34-year-old a rest, you know. And I think Granit Xhaka's played 15 games in a row without being rested. So for me, look, overall, I think we did well to draw the game in the end. West Ham are a good team. They have been playing well, so we do have to acknowledge where they are. But I still felt disappointed with a point in the end. I felt like the game could have been won. When you look at West Ham finished 21 points behind Arsenal last season, 21. They finished fifth from bottom last year. They spent 40 million in the summer, and now they're one win off the top four. And that is where my frustration comes from with Arsenal, because I know it's going to take time and it is a process, but you can't tell me as an Arsenal fan that we should be 7 points behind West Ham, a team that finished 21 points behind us last season. So yeah, it's the roller coaster of Arsenal, isn't it? The emotional roller coaster, and we're stuck on it at the moment.
I know how you're feeling, brother. And Lee, you know, what did you make of it? I mean, you know, Curtis is saying, rightfully, in my opinion, Aubameyang, he's played him, he's kind of shoehorning him in. Usually play him out on the left, he played him on the right. He's dropped Gabriel, who I thought was immense in the previous games, very physical. We brought in Chambers, which I was confused with initially. I was like, you know, but then to be fair to Chambers, he performed well. But what was your take on that lineup and that performance?
Oh, I'll be honest, disappointed with the lineup. I think because, and I'll tell you why. I feel that Aubameyang put him right under the pump, because he brought him in on Thursday after saying, let's be honest, he turned around and said, he's got to work his way back into the team. Well, he didn't really work that hard to get back in the team. He was straight back into it on the Thursday, and absolutely abysmal on the day. He was really poor. So it was a decision then. He couldn't really leave out Lacazette because he played really well against Spurs, and it was a great performance against Spurs. So what he done was he went on the easy option in taking Smith Rowe off, dropping Smith Rowe, should I say? I don't care about. I'm not having it. He was rested, or this rotation, resting. It's an easy word. It's a nice little comfortable way for the manager to say, you know, you dropped, but you're not dropped. But you know, it's a load of old rubbish. You know what I mean? He was dropped. Simple as that. And for Aubameyang, and I think, you know, when you look at it, Smith Rowe was our best player against Spurs.
Yeah, 100%.
I have to say, I could totally agree with what Curtis is saying. If you're going to give players a rest, the two players that you would have thought were being rested for this game was David Luiz at 33, and has been playing week in, week out, and hasn't had a rest, where Gabriel has in the past, and also I would have to say, you know, Xhaka. I'm not having a go at Xhaka in any shape or form, but he's played. That was his first time he's come off in 15 games. I think, like, you know, 90 minutes. He's a machine, but no time for rest. He's going off now to play free international. So when's he ever going to get a break? When is he going to get a break? So I don't believe in all that, and I've said it before. And I don't like continually. You know, we continually keep making mistakes at the back for whatever reason. And one of those reasons, because you keep changing the back four every game. Don't change. Why continue to keep changing it? Chambers, I'm going to have to say this. I like that the decision that you obviously looked at it and thought, well, they're going to be dangerous at set pieces, so it was an extra bigger player in there than the two small players we have at fullback. We conceded 3 goals without a set piece, by the way. You know what I mean? So that's just incredible, and that first 30 minutes sums up these players. I don't look at Mikel Arteta at this. I know Curtis did, just said about that. But what I liked about Mikel Arteta was he was absolutely furious on the line. You know what I mean? Like he wasn't going to accept it. He must have said something at half time in that, because they come out with a completely different attitude. But what is it with these players? Someone turned around to me. These players, by the way, didn't show this attitude against Tottenham. They were all up for it. So why can you be up for Tottenham and not West Ham? The first 15 minutes was a joke. It was an absolute joke. I do agree with Curtis here. Why he played Aubameyang out on the right, you know what I mean? I do not know. So we was just all over the place in that first 15 minutes. And do you know what worries me about it, boys, is there was no one on the pitch that could take responsibility for it and say, right, let's get this together and start playing and start doing something about it. In fact, they went a goal down and they still let it carry on. They went 2-0 down and still carried on. It wasn't until we went 3 that they started to do it. And I think at the end of the day, maybe West Ham thought, oh, we've got 3, we just do a different sort of tactic. I don't know. But I will say this, and I agree with Curtis, it was a bit of disappointment towards the end, because we created so many chances. And what the positives were that West Ham are a well-organised side, and we opened them up time and time again. And what I would say is that it would be great to see someone like Martin Odegaard take the game by the scruff of the neck and drag us through to where we wanted to be. And I haven't seen that from a midfield player for a very, very, very long while at Arsenal, probably since the days of Fabregas. That's how long it's been. And it was fantastic to see. And, I've seen it from other players. I've seen Sanchez drag us through games, but not a midfield player taking the game by the scruff of the neck like that and doing that. So it was fantastic from that point of view. So as many as there were a few minuses but there were pluses in that game. Now I know, it's ironic that a lot of people were tipping, we get a draw out of this game, and then all of a sudden, we're 3-0 down and everybody's disappointed we didn't get a draw. I'll bite your hand off for a draw after going 3-0 down. So I look at it and say that, there are worrying signs at Arsenal still that this is nowhere near right. And what I'm saying by this is because you just cannot, we've got a lovely draw it was a lovely week, by the way. Even though we lost on Thursday, then down the road, absolutely capitulated. So that made it great. I never really enjoyed the North London derby too much because I thought we was going to get them in the quarterfinal or the semi-final, so I didn't want to go too mad. Once they were out, give it to them large, you know what I mean? And I have. I
didn't notice, Lee. I didn't notice.
I loved it. Absolutely loved it. So when they was out, that was great. Then in the draw, we got a good draw. We got what we really wanted, you know what I mean? Like, Sparta Prague, you can't argue with that. All the other big guns on the other side. Everything went right for us. A poor performance on Thursday, and then you see that on Sunday. And that is my big worry about this Arsenal team, is that we should now really be feet up, enjoying a nice little road to the final of the Europa League. But you just don't know what Arsenal is going to turn up. And if it's that team that turns up with that attitude in the first 30 minutes of the game, we'll be in trouble, you know what I mean? So. But all in all, I like to go on to the positives a little bit more, and I think that coming back in the way we did, Partey putting that ball through, that's what we've missed as well, by the way. Partey being able to get the ball and pass through the lines to Odegaard. We haven't had no one being able to do that, and it looked good. There were some good things, and let's just hope now we come back from the internationals injury free, should I say, and we go again to what I think this is important for Arteta and everybody else. We'll finish off the season with a positive performances, and I mean like winning games, looking like we're going into next season in a positive way.
Fair play, Lee. I'll probably agree with most of the things you said there. Pablo, can you hear me?
Yes.
Over there in Cuba. Right, so obviously you've heard what Lee's had to say.
Follow YouTube's, Rupert Murdoch here, but we'll have to follow him somehow. It's what people talk about the comeback, this, that, the other, but I'm thinking we should never have been there in the first place. That 3-0 should not have happened in the first place. These players, they watch other teams play football, so they would have seen what happened to Tottenham just a few days before. So you would think, guys, let's not take anybody for granted here. Let's not let that happen to us. But then you go out there for 30 minutes. I think they thought, I don't know, it's West Ham, we always win. They just didn't turn up. And you don't do that in Premier League. If you look at the table, West Ham is actually above us. So I'm not sure what was that about. And yeah, credit to them for coming back. But if you've got ambition for finishing high in the league, you can't go to West Ham. That would have been a good opportunity for another 6-pointer. And we were lucky that Antonio he missed that chance at the end. Otherwise, it would have been a completely different result.
Yeah, but talking about missed chances, we've missed a few as well. I mean, Pepe's out again.
Yeah. Listen, I hear guys talk about rotation and things like that. I would have thought that he would have rotated for the Olympiacos game. I don't think he should have rotated for this game because you've got a little bit of a chance to bring Pablo Mari in. Maybe you give a few of these guys, some rest, and you can afford to lose 1-0, or draw 1-1. That's all right. Nothing is going to happen. But then, these guys, they've been playing game after game after game after game, no rest. And then Curtis is right. There seems to be some players that they're just going to start regardless. And for me, one of the things is Lacazette, because every time he comes in, he does well. But then he seems to be not a regular starter. And Aubameyang is fitted in anywhere possible. And for the past 2 or 3 games, he hasn't done a lot, let's say. Whether he's as a captain or as your main goal scorer, he's been disappointed. And these are the problem. And I know Curtis, I watch some of his shows, and I think Curtis, this is some of his point as well when he does his show. When you've got a manager that is learning on the job, right? Things like this will happen, and it will continue to happen because he's not experienced. This was the first time that he's gone in the 3-0 down, after a good run. He's managed to kind of salvage it, but maybe if an experienced manager was in place, he would have rotated maybe on a Thursday game.
You still think he should have rotated on a Thursday despite our performance?
Yeah, man.
We
lost anyway, so why not? If you want to bring in Pablo Mari, bring him then. Give the players who've done well for you, give them a rest where you can afford to give them a rest on a Thursday because you've got a cushion. Don't rotate for a West Ham game and then play your main players for a game that is you've got a cushion and then lose anyway and then come on West Ham. So I thought he should have rotated then. And in terms of the comeback, yeah, great. They've come back from 3-0 down, but they should never have got themselves in this situation in the first place.
Fair point. Curtis, Rob, this is a great segue for you as well because the whole Aubameyang situation, obviously everyone's looked at the performances. I could even generalize it a bit further. I could broaden it a little bit more because some people were going on about Partey's performance. He's not ready yet. He's a bit slow. Some people thought he had a great game. It's weird how people view the game. But the whole Aubameyang Lacazette conundrum as well, because you hit some valid points on your show today. Because like leading up to these really important games like the Europa game which was coming up, who do Arsenal lead with? And you were suggesting, look, Aubameyang, rightfully so, man's a goal scoring machine. He's done it everywhere, not just in the Prem. He's done it in the German leagues. He's done wherever he goes. The guy scores 20 odd goals a season. Right? This season is probably the first time in a very, very long time in his career he's had a dud season. It's been up and down for him. So this whole thing with regards to who leads for Arsenal, Laka or Aubameyang, is a massive, massive debate for me because for me right now, the way Arsenal are linking with Emile Smith-Rowe, Odegaard, the way this team's being set up, it fits better with Lacazette for me because he links the play together, he knits it all together, he holds the ball up a lot better, and he's scoring at the moment. Whereas Aubameyang is missing some sitters. I hear your points as well with regards to, look, this man is a goal scoring machine, but there's no denying as well this season without his goals. That's probably one of the main reasons we're in ninth, because you can't deny that he's had quite a few opportunities since his return. We are creating chances now. So what? I didn't watch the end. So what is your take on that, and who would you go with? I'd like to hear your thoughts on it. No,
you make some great points. I think Lacazette definitely links up play better than Aubameyang. I think, look, there's no doubt that Aubameyang's main attribute is his goal scoring ability. His all-round game is not really exceptional. Sometimes these kind of decisions are political because the fact that Aubameyang signed a new contract in the summer on such big money, and then Lacazette's got a year left in the summer. If Mikel Arteta behind the scenes is thinking, I might let Lacazette go in the summer, are you then going to rock the boat with Aubameyang to play Lacazette, and then next season you could potentially have no Lacazette and have an Aubameyang that's had his nose put out of place a little bit? So, you know how it goes in football, the big boy in the club, the top earner, it's a difficult decision because, every time I watch Lacazette play, especially like you said with Smith Rowe, Saka, his link-up play is far better than Aubameyang. I think the problem with Lacazette, he's had these purple patches before at Arsenal where he goes 4 or 5 games, he scores, and we go, Lacazette, this. But ultimately, Lacazette's never scored 15 goals in a league season for Arsenal.
No.
Aubameyang's broke the 20-goal mark twice and won a golden boot. Now, this season, he definitely hasn't been up to the same level. I think he's got 9 goals in the Premier League, which is nowhere near his usual level. I still think he could probably get to 15. He could probably get 6 goals out of his last 10 games. But I think ultimately, we've got to admit Aubameyang maybe is declining. He's 31. He turns 32 this summer. As a guy whose game is built around speed as well, without speed, and you've got to look at how you look at the early part of the season. Aubameyang was on the left wing putting crosses in. I remember one time he's whipping a ball in with his left foot and Willian's heading it, and I'm thinking something's going wrong here. So I almost think Aubameyang has overachieved at Arsenal because the last couple of years, we haven't been that great. I'm surprised that he's actually scored as many goals as he had. So I'm not surprised that he's kind of hit this brick wall. But I think my problem with him and what I didn't like about that West Ham performance is his body language. That armband is not just a token. And that's what it's kind of become at Arsenal now. Well, you're the top player. Just put the armband on. It don't really mean nothing. We're losing games. He's not doing the interview. That whole situation with the North London derby, ultimately he could have cost us that game by turning up late. Lacazette, if he doesn't score, we could have lost that game. Aubameyang hasn't said anything about it. I would have liked him to have done the interview and said, you know what, as captain, I kind of let the team down there and I need to improve my punctuality and stuff. I think it's all right when it's rosy in the garden and you've scored the winner and you're doing the interview smiling. But when the team have lost and you haven't had a good game, stand up and be counted and take responsibility. So it's a difficult one. Arteta's got a difficult decision because I'm not sure Arteta is convinced fully by Aubameyang. I think he walked into a situation where he's the star player and you've got to get him in the team. I think he prefers the striker that Lacazette is, the link-up. He'll help the midfield. But I just think to win that Europa League this season, I think Aubameyang will have to play a big part because I genuinely think if Lacazette and Aubameyang was one-on-one with a goalkeeper in a Europa League final, if you had to put your mortgage on one of them, I think, you'd lean towards Aubameyang. Sometimes Lacazette has them days he misses. So it's a tricky one. It is a tricky one because I think at the moment, we got Liverpool after the break. I think Lacazette just put in a great performance against West Ham. Aubameyang was not good. I think you may have to leave Aubameyang on the bench, but I just don't think the fans should completely turn on him. Criticise him for playing bad. But some people are saying, get rid of him. He's not good enough. He's finished. I think be a little bit patient with him and, let's see how the season finishes.
Do you know what?
Wait. Can I just say something very quickly? Yeah. Sorry. I get your point on him declining. Like, I do notice he's lost maybe a yard of pace. I do feel that. But still, the one thing you don't lose is your finishing capabilities. And he's getting through one-on-one sometimes, bread and butter finishes, and he's missing them. That's the concern for me. Sorry, Pablo.
Yeah, no. Listen, there's a few things that Curtis said in there that I agree with him, right? I personally think we're beginning to see the decline of Aubameyang. And Curtis is right. Aubameyang's game evolves around speed. So he gets into these one-on-one positions. He gets into good position because he's quick, right? That is now declining. That guy is 32, man. In the modern day football, that you're beginning to see your decline now. Right. The other thing that he touched on, and he's right, is the captain armband at Arsenal. It's like the last thing the club does to keep you. If you look back, every time we've given a captain armband to somebody, a season later they're gone or they're sold, and it's like, oh, we'll give you the armband, sign the contract, and it shouldn't be like this. I personally like Lacazette more because I think Lacazette puts it about a little bit. He gives us physicality up front. Aubameyang don't do that. If you look Lacazette, he always comes short, gets the ball, and he protects the ball. Aubameyang is always on the shoulder, ready to run. And I think Lacazette's game suits us more. And it's going to be a big summer for these two, because if you are right in what you're saying, Curtis, that he will sell Lacazette and he wants to keep Aubameyang, and he's got a player that is on the decline. So then they've got to go out there and buy another centre forward, which is a good centre forward is going to cost a lot of money. How much we're going to get for Lacazette is a different argument for another day. But this centre forward situation is going to be an issue this summer. And I agree with you that if in Europa League final, yes, Aubameyang will be in a better position to finish if he's 1-on-1. But it depends. If you're playing Man United in a final, I think Lacazette will probably give us a little bit more up front because he can mix it in with Harry Maguire or Lindelof, whereas they can easily mark Aubameyang out of the game with a bit of physicality. So, essentially, you're right in what you're saying, and I personally think we're now beginning to see the decline of Aubameyang, unfortunately. Before you go on, can I just read out the super chat?
Yeah, of course you can.
From Alexander. Who would give Aubameyang his salary right now? We're going to keep both Lacazette and Aubameyang. There is no way we get anyone pay us enough for it. Well, this is what we're just saying. I mean, Lacazette has got a year left. I think, I don't know, maybe 15, 20 million considering his age. I think, I could be wrong, but I don't think anybody's going to come and pay for money for Aubameyang right now with the salary that he's on. But yeah, over to you, Lev.
Oh, thanks, mate. Cheers. Look, at the end of the day, it does seem like the striker situation is leveling out, doesn't it? Because everyone was like so happy to have Aubameyang sign a new contract. We had all the opposing fans saying he was leaving, and when he signed, we were like, "Oh, this is the sign of things to come now." He's obviously been told we're going to bring some big signings in, and it's turning out that Aubameyang is the one that's not delivering right now, and Lacazette is. And there is a growing trend, let's not forget, of teams playing without a traditional number 9 and having somebody, in some of these games that could soak it up, hold the ball up and link play. So, I mean, for me right now, it's a neck and neck race. And if anything, performance-wise on the field, Lacazette's performing better. But Lee, you've heard the old Aubameyang and Lacazette debate, but there's also other areas I'd want to touch with you as well, in the sense of Chambers being brought in. Is it because Chambers played so well? Or is it the fact that he stood out because Bellerin hasn't been playing very well? And also the likes of Mari's performance and Odegaard. Who stood out for you? And what did you think of this Chambers performance? Because for me, one of the things that Bellerin lacks is that final killer ball. When he's in the final third, he lacks that technical quality, that bit of quality to pick out a player. Chambers seemed to have. So is it because Chambers was so great? Or is it just that we're used to seeing mediocre?
No, I think Chambers played very, very well. You have to say that.
Yeah, I agree.
After the first 30 minutes, he done very, very well. But I think that he was on there. I don't. Do you know what I'm going to say? I don't mind that from Mikel Arteta. That's 2 games now against Burnley, a big physical side. He's put him in there at right back, and West Ham have got some big physical players. Put him in there. So I quite like the idea of that. Looking at the opposition, seeing where we can strengthen up, and I felt that it was a good bold move for him. Do I think he'll play against Liverpool? No, because they play a different way where they've got two wide players which are tricky and pacey. I don't think Chambers will be able to handle that. So it'll be out of Cedric and Bellerin. I don't think Bellerin's done in any way, at the shape or form at the moment under Mikel Arteta, because when it comes to it, he seems to play him. But the two big games I think over the last 3 days was the North London derby and the game against West Ham, and Bellerin wasn't involved in both. So you can make what you want from that. But listen, a manager puts a player in, and it's up to then the player to perform. And I'll give credit where credit's due. In the 2 games that Chambers has come in, he's performed. So that's brilliant. That's all he can do. Whether it's enough to keep him in the team, time will tell. I think that Odegaard up front in the midfield was outstanding. I've got to say that. I thought he was outstanding. I think that he was terrific. He's everything that we've wanted in the last few months. That's why you can see why we've not performed in the first half of the season, because we haven't had that sort of link player that can come in there and do that. You know, I think that with Smith Rowe as well. The thing is what. The problem Arsenal have got, and the problem Mikel Arteta has got at the moment, is that we like to play all this intricate football around the box and in the final third. So really, you need someone that's going to be a wall up front. And Lacazette is very, very good at that. He's a very good one. He can put it into him. He can play it back to you, where Aubameyang's not. So that's a little bit of a problem we've got. I don't care what anybody says. You can criticise Aubameyang as much as you like. When it comes to goals, he's the man. He still will score your goals. All right, he's had a little bit of a purple patch. Now, all these people now I see are turning around, probably me included. So not so much me, but we've all said, well, you know, he shouldn't have got the contract and all that. No one was saying this last season when he was banging in goals. He's not performing now, and that is the fact. Now, when I look at it, other players have played. Ian Wright, for instance. Let's just talk about Ian Wright. At 32, was in his prime. You know, it was about 35 before he started going. And his legs are going. So I think that Aubameyang can still go on, but we've got to look at it from he's got to hit form, and the fact of the matter is, it's no secret, it's no shame neither. He's lost form. It happens to footballers, you know what I mean, and you have to be able to deal with it. Now, the thing about the captaincy and everything like that, I think that there's a little bit of a problem there, because if you go back to it, it's not actually Mikel Arteta's choice for him to be captain. He came to captain because of what happened to Granit Xhaka. Right, you know.
Who's that?
Well, I know who that is.
It's not me. Hello? No, it ain't me. Who's that? It's not me. I don't know. Someone's
I've lost all signal. What's going on here now? Hold on a minute.
Not me.
Is that you messing around, Ellie? Is that your missus calling you for dinner again?
I'll tell you, my phone. I have not got.
You left the taps on. He's left the taps on again upstairs.
I've got no one ringing me up or whatever. Like, I don't know what.
It's not me. I've got my watch and my phone. It's not me.
So, I don't know what. It's definitely not me. So the problem is he wasn't his captain. It was like because of Granit Xhaka's misdemeanor that he was. So what happens now is you come as a new manager of a club. Your main man scoring goals is captain. You can't really say, do you know what, I'm going to take the captaincy off you and give it to somebody else. So I think that Mikel's in a bit of a difficult situation. From
a minefield, isn't it? Really, that one.
Yeah, it's a little bit of a minefield, So let's face it. The reason he's got this massive contract is not just for his goals. It was because the club let him go down to a year where he held all the aces. So these are the problems that have got. So he's on this big contract now. Does realistically Mikel want him as captain? I'm not so sure. In the long term that he probably would, because I don't think he is captain material. And also, I'm going to have to say, a lot of people criticise Aubameyang for his captaincy. It ain't his fault that he ain't a good captain. You know what I mean? I think that it's been thrown on him because of circumstances. He was the obvious choice because he's the best player. Sometimes in a season or when it's going wrong, you have to make that sort of decision. Who would you have put as captain last season? People saying Tierney now, but he wasn't certainly the the player he was this season that he was last. You know, and let's face it, guys, Granit Xhaka got it because realistically we ain't really got many bleeding captain opportunities, and that's the reason he's got it. So from his point of view, when people start slagging off Aubameyang as his captain, I tend to think, well, hold on a minute, he's trying to, what I will say, he's got to try and lead by example, but obviously he hasn't done that. But I don't think he should be like that much criticised for his captaincy, because I think it's been a complete mess from when Granit Xhaka did what he did. And realistically, Granit Xhaka is probably, him and David Luiz are probably the best two leaders in the club, and that just shows you how poor the leadership is at this football club at the moment. You know, you can't really give it to one of the youngsters at the moment because it's too much. You know, Tierney's probably like the choice, but at this moment in time, look, we just got to let that go for the next season or so.
Well, let us know in the chats as well. Who would you have starting at Arsenal for the Europa League games and the coming games? Would it be Lacazette? Would it be Aubameyang? Smash the like, subscribe if you haven't already, guys. Let's look at what some people are saying in here. Aslan saying, so unprofessional. Bruce Lee is gonna chop that phone in half. Oh, cheers, mate. Thanks. All right. Oh, that's unfortunately, he says also, unfortunately, due to Bellerin's injuries, he has lost his pace. That was his main quality. Yeah. Well, you could say that. Vardy rejected Arsenal before buying Uba, says Yo-Yo. Similar skill sets. Vardy struggled in Puel's possession style. Rodgers limited Vardy's runs down the channels. Arteta's asked Aubameyang to play on the wings. Yeah, good point. So yeah, there's some good points being made. Let us know about the Lacazette. I mean, there is someone who's saying Lacazette all day. So keep them coming, guys. Now, I wanted to get on to the Europa side of things because obviously we saw the draw. Sorry. I didn't mean that, guys. Sorry about that. Not that one. Yeah, they're not in it, are they? I forgot about that. Yeah, so let's do a quick reminder of the draws we've got coming up. So we have Slavia Prague. There's a lot of animosity coming up in that game for obvious reasons. Man United have drawn Granada TV. Didn't even know they were still in existence. AFC Ajax are playing Roma, and GNK Dinamo are playing Villarreal. So the draw itself, in my opinion, quite favourable. Curtis, what do you see happening in the coming sort of couple of legs after the international break? I mean, are you confident with that? Do you based on the Olympiacos game, can you be confident?
You can never be too sure with this Arsenal, can you? But
no, you can't.
If you'd have said to us at the start of the season, you'll be in the Europa League quarter-final against Slavia Prague, you'd have, you'd have took that all day long, wouldn't you?
Yeah, all day.
Look, I know they beat Rangers and Leicester, but I think Leicester were kind of going through the motions in that second leg a little bit. But our biggest enemy is ourselves, Arsenal. If we turn up and play well over two legs, we beat Slavia Prague. But if we turn up and do what we've done in these previous games, that's when it becomes difficult. And then obviously looking ahead of that, potentially Zagreb or Villarreal in the semi-final, again, like they're both winnable. I know a lot of people are talking about Villarreal. They're below Granada in the Premier League, in the Spanish league.
Yeah, great point.
Below Sociedad, United went to Sociedad, beat them 4-0. Away from home, and they're 3 or 4 places above Villarreal. So I think the worry with Villarreal is more Emery. You feel like he knows
karma is there, isn't it? It's written.
He's going to have a point.
But he doesn't play though, does he?
Well, he doesn't, but he seems to have a knack in this competition, don't he, of just getting through somehow. But to me, and I'm just being honest, I hope I don't put any pressure on us, but I think we should at least be getting to the final. I've got to be honest. I think if we don't beat Villarreal, Dynamo Zagreb, and Slavia Prague, 2 out of those 3, do we deserve to be in it? Really? You
ain't got a better chance of getting there, Curtis, have you? You haven't.
We haven't, Lee. I mean, Lee, remember a few years ago when I actually think the first year under Wenger in the Europa League, I think we would have won it that year, but Atletico dropped out.
Yeah, that's the game.
They got relegated from the Champions League, didn't they? Then come January, they went and spent big on three or four players in the January transfer window, and we're a completely different animal to what they was in the Champions League, and we actually get them in the semi-final and lose. You know what I mean? by the odd goal, and difficult chances to get there. You know what I mean? I think Arsenal should get there. I really do with that draw. And if they don't, there's got to be questions asked.
The only concern for me is, as Curtis rightfully said, I've seen people tweet loads of times. I wonder, who's going to win, Arsenal or Arsenal? Do you know what I mean? Because we seem to always do something. It's a great point, isn't it? So if you're struggling against Olympiacos, it does worry a bit. Pablo, you all right there? Can you hear me? Yeah. Can you? Yeah. All right. Yeah. Don't worry. You're safe. Go on.
Listen. Arsenal have got a shit board. We all know that. But somebody on the board level should have a chat with Arteta and tell him, listen, the chances of us finishing in top 4 is very, very slim, right? And we've got a great draw for Europa League to get to the final at least. And the final is always a final. You always got a chance against whoever, right? So let's focus on this and let's get because that could be the route for us to get back to Champions League. There will be more money. There will be more money to spend on players. There will be more revenue. It will be a feel-good factor around the club. I think this is what should be happening now.
So you think you should put all these eggs in one basket? Is that what you're saying?
What's there in the Premier League? What are we going to do? We're going to finish, 6?
And every time we get a chance to get into the mix, we lose that game or drop points, don't we? We've always done it.
I don't think we're going to finish in the top 4, brother, because we're too inconsistent. So if we can concentrate on the Europa League, at least we can end up with the Champions League spot. And we've got something to show for a shit season. It's been a disastrous season. Let's not hide from that. First half of the season was shit. Second half, there's improvement, players coming around, they got rid of players, so on. So the only thing we can have at the end of the season to show for is the Europa League. It will get us back into the Champions League. We can kill a few birds with one stone. Champions League, more money, trophy. You know? So I think we should go for it, man. And, Villarreal and Slavia Prague, we should be beating these teams, man. We're Arsenal.
My concern is this, though, guys, right? Individual errors. Individual errors seems to be what's costing us right across the board, even with this league this season, right? Listen,
there's 3 games, these guys. Well, actually, no, there's actually 5 games that they've got to have they full attention. 2 quarterfinal, 2 semi-final, and a final. And these are all professional footballers. If they can't get it together and not fuck up for 5 games for the rest of the season, leave all your fuck up for the Premier League. We accept that, no problem. But don't flop in the Europa League.
I apologise for the swearing at home. Pablo, you never used to do this, Pablo, but a couple of months behind bars, and look at you now, isn't it?
You know what? Listen, I love this club, and I want it. And we've got a great. If I was an Arsenal player, right, I would be looking at this freaking we've got a chance to win this Europa League. Let's not fuck around. Let's go out there, concentrate on these games, and go and win. You know what I mean? But I can easily see us losing to Slavia Prague or go and get done by Unai Emery. And that's what worries me. That's what, and then everyone's going to be back, Arteta out this, Arteta out that, bought this, players this, and then the fan base is just going to go down to a different route. There is already negativity as it is. We just don't need more. We need positivity, man. We need us to go out there and win this cup. Give us fans. We've been desperate for something to celebrate about, man. The last time, most of the fans celebrated something was Mesut Ozil leaving the club. Aubameyang signing a contract, an FA Cup. Give us something that we really want. Give us a European Cup, man. Like, let us remember you.
Pablo, I love the way you're talking there. Like, I really do. But
I love the fact you're calling him Pablo. I just that's not even his name.
But Shanine, like, being honest here, like, Arsenal have won 1 European trophy since 1995. You know what I mean? Like, it's not an easy job. It's not, and I will say this, it ain't easy winning trophies. If it was easy, them down the road would have won a load before. Like, it's not an easy job. So be grateful that we won the FA Cup last season. Because
no, I am, Lee. I am grateful.
No, you're not. You're having a moan.
He's getting proper animated now. You've got him going, mate.
No, listen. My point is this, Lee. Yeah, that we've got a wonderful opportunity in front of us with an easy draw to get to the final, and then one good performance in the final, win the European. We should grasp this with both hands and go out there and do the bizzle.
Okay, so you heard what Pablo's had to say. Go out there.
I think I said 95. It is 94. So
mate, he's even coming out with all these new slangs as well, like bizzo.
Well, yeah,
I've never heard him use something like that.
Listen,
Bizzo.
at the end of it, you've got to look at it and say to yourself, now, look, the God's been kind to us. You know what I mean? Like for the draw, it's give us a good draw. Now, let's be honest. We're all talking Champions League and everything there. Right, yeah. Well, if you can't beat Sparta Prague, Villarreal, and Dynamo Kiev, you don't deserve to be even in the Champions League. Like, you know what I mean? Like, at the end of the day, you know, you don't deserve to be in the Champions League. So, these Manchester City would go and beat these 4 or 5-0. Barcelona would, Bayern Munich would. These teams would wipe the floor with these teams. So,
but Lee, is that a case of European teams improving now across the board? Because let's be honest, yeah, remember back in the days, 5-10 years ago, you play these lower level teams and they were just a walkover.
Yeah, well, of course, but look what Man City have just done to Bush and Gladbach. They just brushed them aside.
Who?
Yeah, exactly. We try saying that when you've had
Bush and Gladbach.
Yeah, exactly. Like, you know what I mean? So they just said Rio Sociedad been smashed by Manchester United 4-0. Come on, we've got an opportunity here. You know, let's face it. I'll be honest with you. Dynamo Zagreb are playing Villarreal. Tottenham should have finished them off in the first leg, but they didn't. You know, so you got to when you like we've got Sparta Prague at home. What I expect us to do is do the job in the first game. Bang, bang, bang. First thing, get it over and done with.
Yeah,
that's what good teams do that are going to go on and be successful. Not piddle around like we do at times, like we have done against Benfica. That is when it comes down to this mentality of the players, mentality of the manager. Make sure you're on it from minute 1 to minute 90, whatever it is. Not, I turn up when we're 2-0 down or turn up when we're 3-0 down. That is wrong. You know, we lost to a very, very poor Olympiacos side because we weren't mentally up for it.
But we still should have scored a load as well.
Missed chances. And that's what I'm saying. When people say, "Oh, we've made a mistake here," we've made a mistake at the back and all that. But when you're one-on-one or missing open goals, that's mistakes as well. Don't kid yourself. You know, we're not scoring strike. You know, it's mistakes. You know, at the end of the day, you're a centre forward. I don't care what anybody says. You're centre forward. You're an horrible sod in the first place because you're a glory hunter for a start, because you are the main man. You put yourself in there as the main man, right? Yeah, you get all the glory, right? You also get all the money, but if you know that they always get the highest paid because that is it. But make no mistake about it, the hardest thing to do on a football field is to score a goal.
Yeah.
It's the hardest thing. So when people make it easy, it's not. So so these players are missing chances, and that is still got to be eradicated as well.
Well, see, this is what I want to throw at Curtis. I touched on it a little bit earlier, Curtis. Individual errors, right? Our league position. If you look at all those drop points against the likes of your Burnleys and your Wolves and teams like that, when we should have maybe won and should have taken our chances, be more ruthless. It's people switching off at the back. I mean, we started to see Leno do it. If you think about Leno, for example, he had that one pass where we said, okay, that was Xhaka. He shouldn't have touched, taken the touch. Then he's given Ceballos another hospital ball, which this time we could blame Leno for. And then even on the second goal the other day against West Ham, yes, okay, a lot of the players were at fault for turning their backs on the ball for the free kick. But even then, in my opinion, that ball shouldn't have gone in near post. The goalie should have saved it for me. There's a number of individual errors everywhere, along with Aubameyang not taking his chances. The Benfica game was a classic. First leg, we were all over him. Didn't take our chances. Almost paid the price second leg. You could say the same with Olympiacos, even though we did beat them 3-1. We had a lot more chances. The West Ham game the other day. Again, Pepe on his right foot, swings, misses the ball when on a 6-yard box. For me, a player 72 million should be putting that in. We're not ruthless enough. That's my concern. I mean, with regards to these individual errors, I mean, people look at Arteta. Can he be blamed? With working with what he's got, playing the system that he's playing, can he be blamed for these individual errors?
No, you can't really blame him for that because it just comes down to a lack of quality, lack of concentration. With Arsenal, we're that team that when we concede a goal, it will leave you like bewildered. Like that goal against West Ham, the second one, you wouldn't see that in a Sunday league game.
No chance.
You would 3 players turning their back on a free kick, and he just lays it off to him. And then, like you said, Leno gets done at his near post, and do you know what? 6-7 weeks ago, I was sitting here going, Leno's had a good season.
Yeah.
That's what I thought. He got sent off against Wolves, what he was doing there, slapping the ball. And then, he's like you said, these mistakes are creeping into his game and, playing the ball out.
Too many of them.
Too many of them.
Too many of them.
And listen, I hate to go back on about it. Yeah, exactly. And people will always ask that question. Well, you let Emi Martinez go and he's doing this at Aston Villa. But listen, that's a whole other story. But I think sometimes you have to keep consistency with your best players in a team. I think there are certain positions you rotate as little as possible. Like Lee was saying earlier, if you find a centre-back partnership that works, play it as much as possible. Centre-backs, they can play most of the games in a season. Yeah. They don't have to run as much as a centre midfielder has to. So I think we rotate too much sometimes. On Saturday, if you watch Man City and all their players are fit, they may rotate 2 or 3 of their fringe players. Ruben Dias will play. Kevin De Bruyne will play. Sterling will be playing. Every time the team lineup comes out an hour before kickoff, I'm scrambling to get my phone out. Like, I've got no idea what I'm going to see here. It could be literally anyone on that team. Chambers comes out of nowhere, or Aubameyang's playing right wing. Man City away, I think Willian was up front. I think sometimes he changes too much, and I think lack of stability is what leads to it, because David Luiz and Gabriel had a good little partnership for 4 weeks. And then you take Gabriel out, put Mari in, and then they're trying to find their way and mistakes are happening. And, we've changed centre-back pairings so many times, Holding, Gabriel, Pablo Mari, if we're going to have any kind of success this season, it's going to come down to eradicating those mistakes. I think why we beat Tottenham was because realistically we didn't make a mistake in that game. They scored an unbelievable goal, but we didn't give them anything, and we won the game.
Great point.
As you rightfully said as well, Arteta's learning on the job, so we're expecting him to make mistakes. The West Ham performance, maybe he shouldn't have dropped those players, but then you could turn around and say that halftime team talk put something up their arse, and they came back in that second half. Is that a typical? A typical thing to show that he is learning on the job, because at the end of the day, he's made a mistake. He's rectified it to some extent, but we're going to see a lot more of it. But Pablo, this is a perfect segue for you, because JSG is a very interesting question based on this Europa stuff, right? And it'll be interesting to hear your thoughts as well, guys. If the Europa League final was tomorrow, what would your boys' starting 11 be?
Wow.
I hit you with the easy questions.
It's a hard one, actually.
I know, man.
Just before I answer this, I just want to say thank you to everybody who's watching us and giving us their time.
Yeah.
Please subscribe to our channel if you're new here. All you've got to do is click on the button. It doesn't cost you anything. It's free. Subscribe. Subscribe to Curtis as well. Curtis Shaw TV. He does good content, man. Go watch him. He does more regular shows. Just thank you for giving us your time. And soon we're going to announce, please subscribe to Lee Judges TV as well. So hopefully...
Flip-flop TV.
His channel will be up and running. Listen, man, it's going to be hard to predict you, but final lineup, if we get there, who's injured, who's not injured. In an ideal situation, you want your strongest team to go out there. And obviously, the centre-back pairing will be Luiz and Gabriel. I think you might... I don't know. I doubt he hasn't played Bellerin for a while, so I don't think you'll play him there. Tierney left back, Xhaka and Partey in the middle. And then you probably have, I don't know, maybe Aubameyang, Odegaard, Saka, and Lacazette up front.
So you'd start Aubameyang, yeah?
Yeah, you want to go with your strongest lineup, and he's your club captain.
On form, is his strongest though? On form, on current form.
But listen, yeah, you as we discussed earlier, if it's Europa League final and you've got to have one guy through 101 on the keeper, you want it to be Aubameyang. So it's better to have him on the pitch to make use of that position if he comes in it.
Fair enough. Lee, if the Europa League final was tomorrow, what would be your lineup, mate?
I would go Leno in goal, Cedric, Luiz, Gabriel, Tierney, Xhaka, Partey, Odegaard, Aubameyang up top, Smith Rowe.
This is where it gets a bit cagey now. Difficult. This is the one, isn't it? Does Laka play? Does he not?
No, I'd go Aubameyang because he scores goals.
You drop Laka, yeah?
Yeah. I'd have so my front three would be so Odegaard in the middle along with Saka and Partey and Xhaka, should I say? Saka on the right, Smith Rowe to the left of it, and Aubameyang up top.
Wow, dropping Laka on current, even based on his current form. That's interesting. Curtis, man, I know you've had this debate, so it's gonna be interesting to see what lineup you would give us.
Yeah, I think most of us pick about the same 8 or 9, don't we? So left in goal, Cedric right back, Tierney left back, Luiz and Gabriel at centre back. Yeah, you got to go Xhaka and Partey in the middle, just because they've got stability there. I'm not a big fan of Xhaka, but yeah, Odegaard in the 10. The only difference, I would go Saka and Pepe out wide. I would go Saka and Pepe because I just think that individual quality, and I'm assuming...
What, leaving Smith Rowe out?
Yeah, I'd leave Smith Rowe out.
Ooh,
the only reason I would do that is because I'm thinking in my head, I think we might get Man United in the final, right? And Pepe has had great performances against Luke Shaw. He's ripped him apart a few times. Obviously, it might not be Man United, but I'm just assuming what I think might happen. And I would, so I'd play Saka and Pepe out wide, Odegaard in the 10, and I'd play Aubameyang up front. I would. I know Lacazette. I just think Lacazette. Look, Aubameyang's done the business in the Europa League as well. Don't forget, he rescued us against Benfica. You know, so I'm still gonna. Yeah, I'm gonna go for Aubameyang. I am.
Ooh, see, if we were playing Man United, this is great. Like as fans, we all have different opinions, right? And I know Curtis, you've played at a decent level football. I know Lee has. I know I have. Anyway, forget about Pablo. He only plays AstroTurf football. I'm only joking, but in the yard. Anyway,
let me ask, have you ever put on a captain's armband and lit out a team at the Emirates Stadium?
He's done that.
He's done that.
Yeah, he paid to do it. He paid to do it. He paid.
No.
Still done it.
He did.
Yes, a couple of bangers as well, you know.
He scored a couple of goals.
Yeah, I've seen him. He keeps sending them to me.
Oh, does he really? Oh my God! I thought it was just me. But, so personally, if it was United, I'd be tempted with Emil Smith Rowe because it's like a Premiership team, and I think Emil Smith Rowe just knows how to play against Prem teams. He, like that hunger he showed against Spurs, like the desire against Spurs. I think to leave Emil Smith Rowe would be very, very difficult. I'm a massive fan of Aubameyang, massive, but the way he's playing right now, I would go with Laka up top. The rest is pretty much straightforward. You could go Saka, Pepe, you could go whatever. But for me, right now, I'd probably go with Laka purely because I think the way European football is, to be able to hold the ball and maintain possession is very, very important. Otherwise, if it keeps coming back at you, which is the problem with Aubameyang, if it goes up top, it comes straight back at us. It goes up top, that's where we seem to be hit on the counter, and I don't like that. I like it when we're controlling games, and we seem to do that better with Laka. That's the only difference probably with everybody else's lineup. So I'll probably go with Laka. You could maybe go with Aubameyang on the left, depending on these, how he's performing. But yeah, it's a tough one, guys. I'd like to hear everyone else's thoughts as well. Chambers, Umar Khalid reckons he would start Chambers as right back in Europa final. What do you think of that one, guys?
No chance. Especially not if it's Rashford on the left as well. Not a chance.
Yeah.
Remember that game against Swansea where he got done by that Montero guy?
Yeah.
He was a decent guy and you couldn't deal with him.
But is that because he was on his way back from fitness, and now there are people are saying
No,
that an ACL is a hard one to come back?
No,
back
but
from.
he wasn't. But he wasn't injured like that at the time. It was just. I think he was playing regularly. He couldn't deal with the pacey guy, and he kept putting him crosses.
I mean, look, I could. Yeah, I get what you're saying. I mean, I could sit here and now ask for predictions and all of that, but it's so far away yet. But I mean, I would expect you guys to tell me that we're going to beat Slavia Prague and go on to the next round, right? Am I right in that?
Yeah.
Liverpool first, though. Liverpool first, Liv.
Liverpool first. Oh, the Liverpool game.
I reckon we'll do them both.
Oh, mate, what are you on?
Well, they
said Sparta Prague going to beat us.
When did I say that?
Mate, he's so inconsistent, mate. I told you.
He's a flip-flop. I'll tell you.
He's the new flip-flop.
I'll send you a pair.
Some Havanas.
We need to be sponsored by Havanas, mate. That's what we need to do with you on the show, bro.
No, man. We should do both. We should listen. Liverpool, yeah, they're not on the greatest of form. Yeah, I know they're good away, but still, I reckon if we put a similar performance that we did against Tottenham, I think we've got a chance now. Why not?
Okay, fair enough. Look, I'm conscious of time because I know Lee's got a show straight after.
Yeah,
Curtis has probably got another 5. I don't know what he's everywhere. The guy.
I'm chilling, bro. I'm chilling. I'm done.
Are you chilling tonight, bro? Yeah,
yeah, man.
All right, Sam.
He deserves it, man. He deserves it. So look, guys, please smash the like, subscribe if you haven't already. We got a lot more content to come. I think Pablo up there has got a few things in his back pocket that he's lining up as well. Some big shows. So keep an eye out, switch your notifications on. Make sure you follow these guys. Curtis Shaw TV, great content, really goes into it in depth. And you might have to wait a minute or two later than the time scheduled, but he'll be there. And when he's there, it's boom. So make sure you follow him. Judges, he's everywhere, as you know. And we are waiting for his channel to come. What are you going to call it, Lee? You were saying? I think it was called.
I think we're talking like the judge show or something like that.
I would have never thought of that one, Lee.
No. So but you got to keep it simple, So
are you going to do like a Judge Rinder style behind the thing?
The Judge channel, I think, something like that.
The Judge channel, right? Okay. So keep an eye out for the Judge channel, where you'll see lots of content, different things. It's not just going to be Arsenal, is it, Lee? It's going to be lots of other things you're planning.
Different things, got some good guests already lined up, like some ex-pros and some players already that are currently playing. So,
and you bringing back the Crystal Maze?
Something like the Crystal. Could do something like the Crystal Maze. Could do something like that. Throw a few tickets up.
That would be brilliant.
You get a gold one, you might get some prize.
Oh my god, mate, that would be amazing. If we can get off COVID, you can do it on a set somewhere. That would be quite funny. I'd watch that.
That'd be good.
All day long. So keep an eye out.
Loads of things we're trying,
Yeah. It'll be loads of things Lee's be trying. So keep an eye out for that channel. And when you do see it, subscribe. He wants to get to 20k as soon as possible. It'll probably take him a couple of hours, but once he's on there, make sure you subscribe to that channel. And Pablo, how you doing? That one phone call me. Yeah, make sure you call me. Yeah, and I hope they're looking after you. And thank you again for coming on today, bro.
Yeah.
You got anything you want to say? You want to say anything in the chats to anyone?
No. Just
no.
We're good.
Oh, he's upset with me now. Doesn't want to talk to me.
No, I'm good. I just don't have anything to say. I said what I wanted to say.
Nothing like finishing with a big bang there. Thanks there, Shaheen. So look, a few last words. Jashar, thank you very much. He says, great stream, fellas. Later, Curtis. Can't wait for the channel, says Augustine. I can't say that surname. If anyone can help me out with that one, Quawampa, something like that. We've got Siram, maybe Lee need to decorate like a court to judges. I think I kind of get what he's saying there.
Yeah, good.
Dress like Judge Rinder and give it some. Superflea says, Curtis, like a Caribbean restaurant, you got to wait ages, but the food is deep. The food is that should be your slogan, Curtis.
I just typed it myself, actually.
He's setting himself up. So listen, everyone, thank you for joining us. We've had like up to just over 300 people in the chats and watching. It's been great. Thank you for your support. So keep an eye out for Friday with Fan Cam. If you want to come on, we drop the link. You can come on and have your say. And that's it from me. Shaheen, any final words? No. Okay, so yeah, is that So, okay, so that's the end of this. I'm Lavandra. It's been the Arsenal Lounge. Thank you very much for watching, and we're out of here.